Early is fine. Early is good. People like early. Hi, everybody. It is I, Captain Foley. Let's see what's going on. All right. That and that. Aha. So Joseph Barbato, Trekyardians, Grant McGregor, and Joseph again. Live long and prosper. Welcome back, guys. It's time for a new first reaction. And the Dead Man. Ooh. And Neil Hammersmith. Ooh. There's a lot of people here. Let's see what you guys are saying about this Ortigas episode. Which, to be fair, is like if Galileo 7 and Rena had a baby. Because that's exactly what this is. This is also the movie Enemy Mine. This has been done in every other Star Trek series. There was an Enterprise one with Trip and some guy stranded, had to get the thing to the mountaintop. There was the TNG one with Geordi and the Romulan. It's just a good morality lesson that even you can work together with your enemies because your enemies are very much not different than you. It's great. I do have some issues with this episode, but overall it was rather enjoyable. Like I said, all Star Trek series kind of have one of these episodes, and this one was done fairly well, I think. Although it was very much giving me Galileo 7 vibes. Have to deliver the vaccine. Gotta get out of there at a specific time. Shuttle crashes. Sending up a flare at the end. Red line. We gotta go. Oh no, we gotta go. Just as they're ready to leave, the flare goes up. So overall, I enjoyed it, but there are some issues, like I said. Why did they send La'an and 3 security officers with phaser rifles? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Why were those phaser rifles set to kill, not stun? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. They didn't know there was anybody else there. There's no reason to suspect it was a hostile environment as far as critters go. So you think they just would have taken hand phasers, and we've already, as Una said earlier in the episode, we already lost one crew member. Why we would risk more? So whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I wish they would have stunned the Gorn though, and not flat out murdered it. Just stun it and have it be that its injuries are already so bad, its infection was so bad that the stun resulted in its death. To just flat out just everybody open fire and just murder the thing. When they emerged from the same shelter. Context clues, everybody. Kind of speaks very, very poorly for La'an. But what do I know? Not much. But let's see what you guys are saying about this. I'm sure we'll have these conversations throughout the course of the next hour or so. So let's just get into it. And yes, I am early. I know some people might not be ready for that, and they might not be here, and I apologize. They can go back and rewatch this, or like I said, we'll probably cover this stuff again. But let's get into it. Joseph Barbato. Man, this one hit me in the feels a few times. I knew someone wasn't making it off that moon, but the way it happened was heartbreaking. It really made you feel bad for the Gorn. 100% yes. I mean, agree. Yes, agree. Joseph Barbato, at least we have finally have an explanation from the Metron why nobody's heard of the Gorn before Arena. You haven't got that explanation yet. That was not fucking said. He said, you're going to forget me. What do I get to remember? Everything that happened to you here, because it was genuine. And then, yeah, you would assume that they would say, okay, Spock and Uhura, you're not going to remember the Gorn. But guess what? The last scene fucking ruined that, because Uhura came in and talked about the Gorn. And Ortigas said that the Gorn was her friend. So no, it doesn't answer that question, Joseph. Not one iota does it answer the question of why nobody knows about the Gorn in Arena. It does not. So the Metron tested a Gorn, and Ortegas decided they weren't ready. Tested Kirk and Gorn and decided humans weren't ready. Yes. Trekyard is here. The unwritten rule of acquisition. Show Trekyards some love. Yes, hit like. This is true. Grant McGregor, hello. Joseph Battle, Captain on the bridge. Thank you. I am here. Yes. Deadman07. Should that be 007? That's not a 0. That's an O. I'm confused. Neil Hammersmith. This episode proves that Putzman's writer's room does not have the originality to write a Trek episode from beginning to end. Unfortunately, this has become a trend as Strange New Worlds has progressed. The ending was a little bit not great. So finally, Ortegas got to shine, says Domino Gamma. Yes, indeed. Phoenix Gundam, it was more enemy mine to me. 100% enemy mine. I wasn't saying it wasn't enemy mine. Enemy mine was one of the first things I said it was. But if you're looking at Star Trek episodes, the whole thing gave me Galileo 7 vibes. And then the Metrons showed up. So it's like I said, it's like Galileo 7 and Arena had a baby. Travis says, love this episode until the last 10 minutes. Yeah. Grant McGregor, the series would be better if the retcon Gorn was some new alien race. Keeps coming back to hurt the series. It does, yes. But I like to think that this is a female Gorn. Maybe all the Gorn we have seen have been female. Maybe it is a led by female society, a matriarchy. Maybe matriarchy, yeah. Yeah, I think. I don't know. But and the Gorn we see in Arena is in fact a male of the species, an elder male of the species. That's why he's a captain. I don't know. But no, that doesn't even work, because in Lower Decks we see a male Gorn and a female Gorn being married, and they look identical. So I'm right there with you. The Dead Man said, hated it. Interesting. Phoenix Gundam, Trek does love standing their main characters with someone or something that could kill them. Or stranding. Yes, it's not only Trek, it's just it's a tale as old as time. It is a story trope that has been used multiple times, and it's a good lesson though, to realize that everybody is the same. Everybody has a family, everybody has a mother and father that care about them. Everybody has siblings, everybody is afraid. It's a fantastic way to it's a good message for Star Trek, and I think it was done remarkably well here. So, and yeah, I did have feelings for the Gorn at the end. It's like, what the hell? So, Captain Decker was mentioned. Yes, indeed. BJ, I haven't eaten in 3 hours. So hungry. Then eat. Eat, my child. Speaking of, I need to have a drink because my mouth's a little dry. All right. Neil Hammersmith, the episode had its moments. It was easy to tell when their best writers step out for a smoke break and had the bad writers covering. Killing the Gorn was a symbol. The writers killing my inner Trek child. Oh my God. Yeah, I think the Gorn death was very unnecessary, but yeah, those phaser rifles should have been set on stun, and there's no reason that they should have sent down La'an with 3 security officers all decked out in tactical gear with phaser rifles. There was no reason to think there was a threat on that moon. So I call bullshit on that. Just putting that aside for a moment, fine, send down La'an and 3 officers. That's wonderful. Great. Why are their weapons on kill? They should never be on kill unless ordered. Should always be stun first, ask questions later, then kill. I don't know. But it should have been stunned. And I would have been fine with the Gorn being stunned and succumbing to its infection, its injuries. The stun was just enough to put it over the top and kill it. There's no reason they should have just started blasting on kill. I think that was ridiculous beyond ridiculous, and I'm not super happy about it. But hey. Travis Loschen hated on killing the Gorn. I get they need to get the Gorn out of the story, but they could have done something more clever. Maybe have her sacrifice herself for Ortegas when the heat shield fails. Yes, or have the fucking Metron send the Gorn back. Heal the Gorn, bring the Gorn back to life, send it back to its people so it's not broken, so that the Gorn won't kill it. And yes, that would have worked as well. Colin Barrett, it was La'an, of course. The Gorn was going to die no matter what the circumstances. The Gorn could have had a hand-baked cake with welcome written on it, and La'an still would have shot it, LOL. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, she's a bad chief of security in this episode because fucking context clues, people. They both emerged from the shelter together. It's not like it was a large room, and Ortegas came out, and then the Gorn came out like a couple seconds later. They came out of this little thing that they were held together in. Why fucking shoot it? Whatever. Donnie. Yes, hello, Donnie. Phoenix Gundam. It was more implied that Metron will genetically rewrite them into their TOS and lower decks versions to change their perception of them. Ooh. Yeah. They did say we might have to change your perception of the Gorn. That might be an interesting way to do it. Yeah, I didn't really think about that, but you're right about that. Donnie, I must admit this week's Ranger episode was much better than the previous 2 episodes combined. 8.5 out of 10 shuttlecrafts. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it as much as the last 2, but you've hated the last 2 for some reason, Donnie. So I don't understand. I still really enjoyed this one. But yeah. Hezraz made me sad, but I get it. Stereotypes run deep. I like the message. I do get the annoyance at using past ideas. I like the Gorn can understand humans verbally better than humans, and vice versa. Yes. Brian Strait, TNG, The Enemy, Enterprise, Dune come to mind. Yes, I already mentioned those at the very beginning of this. There are other ones. Like every series has at least one of these. There was the one with, well, that doesn't really count. I was going to say there was one in Deep Space Nine where Dukat and Cisco were trapped in a cave, but that's not really the same thing at all. Hezraz, problem is that we seem to make new things, but good, that we seem to not make new things, but good episode, not like life-changing, but good. Yes. The Scottish Nightmare, this episode was good until the very end. That was just stupid. Yes. Why was the rifle on kill, and why did they have rifles? Exactly. No need to take rifles down to a moon that had like maybe one or just a hand phaser. But 3 security officers with La'an, that's a little much. Grant McGregor, I thought the Gorn was pregnant and they were going to riff on enemy mine. Zamis? Zamis. No Zamis in this one. And the Gorn being pregnant wouldn't work because that's not how Gorn worked. They would have had to implant their babies into Ortegas. And yeah, you don't want little Gorn Zamis running around because they're kind of feral. They would just kill everything. Matt Boardman, that's eat my child, not eat. That's eat my child, not eat my child. Yes. The Dead Man, I liked it better when it was called Arena, Dawn, The Enemy, or the movie Enemy Mine. Yes. Ozzy, did you see the Botany Bay on your wall shelf in her room? On my wall shelf in her room? How does she have my wall shelf? I did not see the Botany Bay. I saw the Shenzhou for fucking some reason. Spitfire, SR-71 Blackbird. I did not see the Botany Bay, no. Terrence Childs, this is the Federation after the Dominion War, Captain. Smart Smears, not my favorite season, but I really enjoyed this one. Common Trek crash shuttle trope, but very clever. Love the hook of the moon going through the gas giant. Killing the Gorn was bad, though, yeah. It's so Galileo 7. Even the flare at the end, like, and the timing of everything. Like, we're at the red line, we got to get out of here so that the wormhole doesn't crush us. Oh, we also got to get the shit to the colony. Lives are at stake. It's very Galileo 7. But Archimedes 1, what it should be called. But the Scottish Nightmare, La'an didn't even shout. It's coming right for us before shooting. BJ, I was making fun of Ortegas being so desperately hungry after a few hours stranded on a moon. Yeah, yeah, they didn't do a good job of indicating any time had passed. Like, you think before a mission like that you'd eat, and then yeah, sure, your rations get fried, but why do you need to eat like instantly? I mean, it is one of the first things for survival, though. As she said, shelter, water, and food. But as far as she knows, the Enterprise is on the other side of the wormhole. They'll find a way to get her out. Yeah, it stretches believability a little bit in that regard. So, Neil Hammersmith, why does Putzman like to flirt with the revision of history card with established Trek lore? The Megatron at the end sounded like Q with the trials. You mean the Metron? The Metron was interesting. If you go back and look at the one in Arena, it's the same thing. It's a male that's kind of effeminate, and I think that's interesting because the Metrons took on human form, but there's male and female, so it would blend them both together. So I think that was interesting. I didn't have a problem with the Metrons showing up. I just wish it would have been handled a little bit better in regards to the Gorn, but yeah. Colin Barrett, stun, question, kill. The captain is in quite a mood tonight. Hezraz, question is though, did the Metrons eventually rewrite and change stuff to bring more peace to Gorn and humans? Probably, because it does, the Metron in this one does say, you know, perhaps we might have to change your perception of the Gorn. So, the Dead Man, I think I'm done with Stranger Worlds after this season. That's a shame. BJ, Metrons are assholes. They aren't great. Smart Smears, I also don't know how I feel about making this a Metron thing. Feels tacked on, but didn't take away from the story, so it's fine. Yeah. Matt Boardman, or have the Gorn kill the Gorn pilot as a way of punishment. You still get the emotional impact, but the Gorn weren't there. The Gorn didn't show up. Oh, but I see what you're saying. Have the Metron send the Gorn back injured, and then you know that it's going to die. Yeah. I get you. Hezraz, keep watching. It has only been extended. It has only extended for a season or two and then canceled. One more full season, then the 5th season is half a season, 6 episodes. So, R. Lee wanted Ortega to phaser a few rocks to heat for nostalgia's sake. Yeah. Higher res, the higher species always ends up being jerks. Because they become so judgmental that they forget who they used to be and they play games. Yes, that is one of the messages in Star Trek, absolutely. Log to the base 2. The Gorn death was a bold decision. Normally the Gorn lady would have survived to be the Federation Gorn ambassador in the next series. In the next season, I think you mean. And yeah, that would have been a cool way to do it too, to bring a little bit more stability between the Federation and the Gorn. I think that would have been very interesting, yes. But yeah. Orlandian Productions. My favorite part of this episode was the mention of Constellation and Decker. Devo, this episode had a bit of Galileo 7, Arena, and Enemy Mine. A bit. That's all it was. Hashtag justice for the Gorn, yes. Smart Smears, I think it's funny that Strange New Worlds lore means the Gorn are these savage, evil, brutal people, but also that they put more effort into understanding humans than humans put into understanding the Gorn. Colin Barrett, I did see the Gorn death coming early on. If the Enterprise rescued the Gorn, it would break canon. Yeah. The Scottish Nightmare, Lon should be in trouble for this. She should be, yes. A.C. Escher, the alien at the end was unneeded. You're also not wrong. Star Trek doesn't repeat, but rhymes. Neil Hammersmith, the Gorn explaining they study their prey was basically a copy-paste of the Hirogen. Donnie says, to be honest, I'm fine with whether or not the current era of Star Trek would be decanonized, despite Prodigy being my #1 current Star Trek show and project. Okay, I get sick of these. They're going to decanonize. They're not. Same with Star Wars. They're not going to decanonize fucking anything. In Star Trek, it's easy. You've already got Strange New Worlds kind of firmly established in what a disco verse, because it is visually, it's just different. And not only visually, there's other things that are different about it. So it's not really prime timeline. So it's very easy to say that that's not. Prodigy will never be decanonized. They're not going to decanonize anything. They're not going to say it's not canon. They're just going to, you know, create something new that maybe fits more into canon, and they're going to go from there. They're not going to decanonize anything. Ozzy, it's on her shelf, quick shot, and she had the Lancaster bomber next to the Spitfire. Yes, she did. Scottish Nightmare, Metron sounded like the Goa'uld now. Kinda. They had a funky voice before, though, so it's fine. Eric Martin is here. Good to see you, sir. Fleet Paw, $5. Poor Gorn. I felt very bad for the Gorn at the end. Lon let her prejudice overcome her judgment. Never fear, Fleet Paw is here. Ozzy, does this mean the Gorn is the final episode? No. Final episode is going to be, well, Pike and Battelle standing in front of a thing. I don't know if it's going to be Gorn related, but... Mr. T, I like this episode, but the addition of the Metron seemed a little awkward and out of place. It was a decent episode overall. Fat Produce, I hope that we get some great fallout between La'an and Artigas going forward. I do too. I do too, because what La'an did was totally unjustified and very not Starfleet. Yes, I understand that she had history with the Gorn, but context clues. Coming out of the same little structure, the Gorn was obviously wounded. It had a bandaged up leg. Like, come on. There's no need to just immediately start firing at it. But whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to be fine about it. Mr. T, I like this episode, but the addition of the Oh, sorry, I read that one already. My bad, my bad. La'an, the only good Gorn is a dead Gorn. Yep. Gorn, but not forgotten. Womp womp. Brian Strait, wouldn't it take days, if not weeks, to teach someone to be any good at chess? And probably the Gorn game too. Thought we had a time crunch here. Still came out liking the episode overall, a 9. You are correct about chess and the other game, but unfortunately they didn't have the runtime of a movie like Enemy Mine, and they needed to build that kind of closeness with the two of them. So yes, you are correct, but they're kind of limited by the time that they had. 49 people here, 26 likes. Hit that like button, guys. Let's get those likes up to 50 if we can. I appreciate all of you. Feel free to comment. I will read them, and we'll talk about this episode and hopefully have a good time. I don't know. R. Lee, Strange New Worlds almost had their first Commodore with Decker. Fleet Paw, the Gorn was probably dead anyway if the Metron sent her back to the Gorn. Yeah, but the Metrons also probably had the power to heal the Gorn to send it back, or, you know, bring it back from the dead to go on the Enterprise. I don't know. Yeah. Neil Hammersmith, the Orville episode, Nothing Left on Earth Excepting Fishes, did this type of story better. At least Mercer saved her and handed her back to the Krill. Dominion Gamma, maybe the perception will change in the season finale. They still have the Captain Battelle Gorn DNA to deal with. Yeah, you're probably right. They also have another season and a half. So, Captain Corky, they actually got me to care about the Gorn. I was lightweight pissed at La'an for killing her. Yeah, understandably so. Devo77X, Metrons, a little more involved in galactic affairs than the Organians. Of course, the Organians only got involved because the Federation and Klingon were dragged to their planet. Yeah. Hezraz, if you look at what the Metron guy said, is that he basically said that both species were barbaric. My God. So I'm sure that they judged the humans and the Gorn in a similar way as both barbaric. Yeah, he did say that. You're both barbaric species. BJ, I recall an old Star Trek novel where a space station promenade Kirk and Spock in shock see Sulu being lifted up by a Gorn, only to find out the Gorn was only demonstrating his strength for Sulu. Huh. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's IDW, there's a Gorn Spotlight comic that goes into some Gorn stories. The Gorn aren't bad. Even in even in TOS, the only reason that they attacked the colony was because they thought that the Federation was encroaching into their space. They were just protecting their space. So the Gorn aren't evil, despite what Strange New Worlds wanted to tell us. So, Fleetpaw, Captain Patel is going to humanize the Gorn because she's going to change into one. I don't know about that. Neil Hammersmith, I completely agree with you regarding Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Discovery taking place in its own timeline, but someone needs to that Putzman and others. I need to tell that. Yeah. BJ, why didn't they have a landing party ready to go in the transporter room? I don't know. That's a good question. Because, yeah, La'an took her sweet-ass time walking off the bridge. After they hit the red line, we're still holding the fucking wormhole closed, which the red line was going to crush the ship. And, yeah, she sure took her time leaving the bridge, didn't she? Hezraz, flashy eyes, deep voice. Metrons, go all Stargate. Maybe do some Stargate crossover, LOL. Just kidding. Scottish Nightmare, and can't the Constellation get their own vaccine? Not a fan of this trope. Yeah, me either. Me either. Eric Martin, with Ortegas and La'an and all the PTSD on the ship, they needed a ship's counselor. Don't underestimate the value of psychobabble. Hezraz, I am all for seeing Patel turning into some weird Gorn hybrid. Fleetpaw, Ortegas and La'an need to get into a fight. Ortegas needs to beat the shit out of La'an until she taps into some augment strength, and then beats the hell out of Ortegas, telling her why she shot the Gorn. No. None of that. She shouldn't be beating the shit out of Ortegas. If she doesn't understand why Ortegas is pissed, she should just take the fucking whooping. Mr. T, one issue, Uhura. Even if the captain knew she fudged the numbers, that should result in disciplinary action and a permanent note on her record. Yeah, but Pike's a pretty decent guy when it comes to his crew. He's more of a friend than a captain, so. Terrence Childs, I always hit the like button. Thank you, Terrence. As you all should. 47 here, 32 likes now. Let's get those likes up to 50 if we can, please. And thank you. Ozzy, they're running out shuttle. How many shuttlecraft they have left? Well, they're always going back to Starbase, so they're always getting restocked. Hezraz, at Eric Martin, 100 years later they do. Probably one of the reasons I hear the pupster. LOL. You do hear the pupster. This one here. She's being loud. Fat Produce. I'll be honest, La'an's actions really ticked me off. I really hope there's a fallout from this between Ortegas and her. Yes, 100% agree with you. Colin Barrett. Heard an industry rumor that there was going to be a season 5 of Strange New Worlds, but a 2-hour movie. Paramount said no, not because they did not like the idea, because they did not want Secret Hideout to do it. Well, there is going to be a season 5, though. It's going to be 6 episodes. And that is literally just a rumor that you heard, so. Rico's Drives and Drones. Every Star Trek series seems to redo the enemy mine theme. Trip, Geordi, DS9, Voyager. Yeah, I said that at the beginning of this. Every Star Trek series needs one of these. Some are done better than others. This one was so enemy mine, it wasn't even funny. But, yeah. It's also merging Galileo 7 and Arena together, like, you know. If those 2 episodes had a baby, this is the results, you know. So, it's fine. It's a good message for Star Trek. It really is, about understanding your enemy and the differences between you aren't that great once you drop all the propaganda and bullshit. But it's literally a tale as old as time. I mean, there's been stories like this for centuries of 2 enemies having to rely on each other to survive. So it's a good storyline. It really is, and I do enjoy the hell out of Enemy Mine. So. Log to the base 2. Difference is the Gorn death. Otherwise, it would be cut and paste from the plagiarized material. It was very deliberate, as is the relaxed moral certainties compared to later series deliberate. Going death. That's why it would be a pace. Are you asking a question? I don't know. BJ, a difference in time on Moon could be explained by time dilation. If closer to the wormhole, slower time moves like a black hole. What happens in film Interstellar? So days could pass for Ortega's. It's true, but you never get that you never get that feeling. They never really do a good job of conveying that, if that is the case. Devo77X, I see Discovery and Stranger Worlds taking place in altered timelines. All the changes that happened in Star Trek Enterprise created this new timeline. Everything still happens, just maybe the details are different. Yeah. Hazraz, it would be interesting to see this episode from the Gorn point of view. Yep, I've thought that many times watching stories about this kind of trope. The Scottish Nightmare, doesn't Cassidy have a Gorn on her baseball team? I believe so, yes. It's not her team, it's her brother's team, isn't it? But yeah, the Gorn aren't evil in Star Trek. There's many instances of in books, comics, games where the Gorn are actually allied with the Federation, or not, maybe not part of the Federation, but they are not at war, and they do work together, so. Fleetpaw, these new Gorn are kind of growing on me like a wart or a herpes sore, but they're slowly becoming cool looking. Oh, don't get me wrong, the animatronic was amazing in this episode. I thought it was fantastic. But, yeah. Just wish it looked like Gorn. It's a great alien species, don't get me wrong, but BJ, if this was the only time we saw the Gorn in Strange New Worlds, that would have been pretty cool and not broken canon. Giant lizards are just scary. Not past encounter needed. Yeah, you are correct. The Scottish Nightmare, I thought they were going to have some fun with the wormhole. Ortegas was going to be in Borg space or something. Well, I love that Spock threw it. It could even be an alternate dimension. I'm like, maybe they're going somewhere with this. Nope. Devo77X, at least Pike didn't have a galactic commissioner breathing down his neck like Kirk did. No, but he had fucking Una. Like, she was that substitute for that guy in this episode, because she was very like, we gotta go get the vaccines, 4,000 lives against hers. Urgh. So yeah, she was the analog for that guy in this one, unfortunately. Jamie42, I buy Pike not caring about the fudge the numbers. He was willing to gamble as long as they had time to meet the constellation. Yeah. Fleetpaw, 47 people here. Isn't that the same number of photon torpedoes Voyager started with when they got stranded in the Delta Quadrant? Either way, hit that like button, folks. Fire your finger torpedo at the like button. Neil Hammersmith says, I'm fine with it too. This is a blessing because these writers do not know what they are doing. The Gorn arc is pissing on Gene Kuhn's arena script. Colin Barrett, the 6 episode season 5 is instead of the 2-hour movie. They liked the movie idea, but did not trust Kurtzman with it. Yeah, oh, there you go. Cool. BJ, TNG did revisit a lot of TOS episodes, but mostly in the first season, they encounter Silicon Life and don't mention Devil in the Dark. Pretty big canon violation. Data should have mentioned it. Yeah, you're not wrong. And the reason there's a lot of that kind of trope in season 1 of TNG is because a lot of those scripts were written for Star Trek Phase 2. So that's why the first season of TNG is a little bit different storytelling arcs. No A, B, and C plot. Usually just one A plot, and yeah. So yeah. John Fisher, I had a Castaway moment when Erica was so happy with herself making water like Tom Hanks' character making fire. Yes, absolutely. Eric Martin, Fleetpaw is being nice to me. What's going on? I don't know. Fleetpaw notices Eric Martin, moves to toss him in an airlock and purge it, but sees a Russian bot and remove that instead. I thought you were going to say that you tossed him a piece of dead centipede heart. Ozzy, are the Gorn like in Enterprise Mirror Universe? They look like they are. No, they're not the same at all. We have done many videos talking about the different Gorn iterations over the years, from TOS to In a Mirror Darkly to Strange New Worlds. So check out those videos. Tom Nardi, since they made a point of showing this one as female, could the Gorn Kirk faces in TOS be male to explain different look? Yeah, I mentioned that. We filmed our review earlier today, which will be up tomorrow. I mentioned that in that because that would be cool. But at the same time, in Lower Decks, we did see a Gorn marriage, and it was a female Gorn with mammaries, you know, boobs, and a male Gorn getting married, and they look the same. So I would be fine with that explanation, actually. Lower Decks is Lower Decks, but Lower Decks is way more canon accurate than Strange New Worlds will ever be. So yeah, but no, that's it. It's a viable answer to the problem. John Fisher, does Ethan Peck know how to do the Spock eyebrow raise? Could have used some in this episode. He does know how to do it because he's done it multiple times. Hezrez, random thought now. What would Mirror Universe Ortigas be like? Oh, she'd be sinister. And she'd crash the ship. I don't know. Scottish Nightmare. Imagine if the TNG episode ended like this, with Worf killing the Romulan. I mean, when you put it that way, yeah. Colin Barrett, I hear there are background discussions around how do Star Trek Legacy without Secret Hideout can be done without Jack Crusher and the Enterprise G. I hear there are background discussions around how to do Star Trek Legacy without Secret Hideout can be done without Jack Crusher and the Enterprise G. Sure. All of those things you hear, though, are just that. They're rumors until they're announced otherwise, so. Fleetpaw, tis, you know better, sir. PJ. I see what happened now. All right, she makes water. Is so happy and never drinks again in the entire episode. She does. She drinks when she's outside the shuttle. When she's looking for food before she finds the Gorn, she drinks the last little bit of it. Donnie, I myself am working on a blender model of what the Enterprise G should have looked like. Devo77X, when Spock said Ortigas could have been in another universe, I imagine the Kelvin Enterprise showing up and rescuing her, and that would be their way of writing off Ortigas. Ortigas, I have a feeling that Una is going to get her own command, her own ship, and Ortigas is going to go with her. All in a setup to what we get in TOS. So you don't really hear about Ortigas. Because why would you? Although she's good friends with Uhura, so. But still, it doesn't matter. BJ, La'an finds out Mirror La'an is pretty much the same. And become best friends. Fleetpaw, why do you need Secret Hideout to be able to still use Jack Crusher? I is confuzzled. Yeah, you don't need those dipshits to fucking use anything in the canon. Or their canon, anyway. It's not Secret Hideout's property, so. Jeff Jacobs says, I'm here, I'm here. Well, you missed the whole conversation, damn it. Colin Barrett, yeah, I'm hoping the non-TOS characters get promoted off the ship and not killed off. I think Lon is the only one that's going to be killed off. Lon's either going to be killed off or she's going to join temporal investigations, and they're going to have to either fake her death or erase her from the timeline because it's temporal investigations. That's what I think is going to happen with Lon. I think everybody else is going to get transferred. I don't think anybody's going to die. The Silent Empyrean Frost. I have arrived. Sorry for the exit of the Yards group. Kind of stopped reading my Star Trek fan stories for a while, but I'm back. Cool. BJ, didn't Una have a ship in the first episode with like one other crew member? Well, she was on an Archer class. Was it an Archer class? It was a single nacelled ship. It wasn't the Saladin class, but it was a single nacelled ship that had like, what, 4 or 5 officers on it. That wasn't her ship. She was just temporarily assigned there. Hey, Sean is here. Hey, Cap. Hope all is going well. It is. Good to see you again. Stephen Fothery. Howdy, howdy, Cap. Hello, Stephen Fothery. How are you today? Text Trek is in the house, guys. So, thumbs up. Jeff Jacobs. My bad. My wife dragged me off into the bathroom and I was late watching the show. Cool. I don't want to know. Donnie, I'm down for more than just Star Trek Legacy and United. The fuck is United? But also a future Star Trek project that fills the gap between Voyager season finale and Nemesis. Yeah, probably not going to happen. Fleetpaw, Una gets her own command and takes Ortigas, La'an, Mitchell, and Pelia with her, or La'an gives her life to save the Enterprise from something. Scottish Nightmare, have you been watching the new Alien show? I like how they stick to the look of the 70s movie. I have not watched Alien Earth yet. I'm going to wait till it's all out, and then I'm going to watch it. Devo77X, Una getting her own command is a great way for her to be written off. I totally agree. Jeff Jacobs, I enjoyed the episode, tearing up a bit at the end when the Gorn got shot. Yes. Agree. Agree. I shall give Alien Earth a chance at some point. I will as well. Darren Wagner, hey Stuart, did you get your Tomy D7 yet? In any case, which one did you order? Yeah, I'm basically working with Tomy now. So I will be getting one of the D7s. I requested the concept one, or the original with the 2-tone paint scheme. So yeah, that's what I'm getting because that's the one you should get. Colin Barrett, thinking about it, when did we see Chief Kyle last? Not sure. I think he was in last season. If that was him in the transporter room, that young kid. I don't know. Jeff Jacobs, read it again, Cap. I said bedroom, LOL. Oh, yeah. Dyslexia is a bitch. So. Fleetpaw. Good for you, bro, but TMI, man. LOL. I just won't say anything because that's just for the best at this point. Neil Hammersmith, regarding this transition from Pike's staff to Kirk's, the sealet who ate its tail will be pivotal in explaining how Kirk selects his senior staff. I totally agree. Joseph Barbato says, make Jeff pay. Make Jeff pay should be a thing every time he's here. Donnie, though, says, even my good friend Overlord... Oh, who gives a shit what he thinks? Jeff Jacobs, let's get to 50 likes and hashtag make Jeff pay. There you go. 7 more likes. Hit that like button if you're just joining us. Get to 50 likes and make Jeff pay. Although he hasn't agreed to it yet, so... Oh, he did agree to it because he's the one that said that. Okay, there you go. My God, man. I'm off my game tonight, and I apologize. Hashtag justice for the Gorn, says Fleetpaw. Yes. Devo, Star Trek United is the President Archer series idea that's being kicked around. Oh. Brian Strait, how about we spend time in the Enterprise B and C era? We've seen and heard very little about it. We've been in TOS era too much. I don't think too much is accurate, but yes, we need to explore the Lost era, but I want somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing, like Mike McMahon from Lower Decks, or Aaron Waltke and the Hagemans from Prodigy, who actually like Star Trek, understand the fans, get the fans what they want, and don't break canon. I want them to be in charge of it, not anybody that is currently in charge, because they would just fuck up a perfectly good era that we're looking forward to seeing. So, yes, Lost era, but done correctly, please. Jeff Jacobs, I did have a real problem with the whole sticking yourself in the wormhole thing. Are you talking about what happened in the bedroom now, or are you talking about the episode, Jeff? Colin Barrett, I wonder if we will get Gary Mitchell before the series ends. Possibly. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. The Scottish Nightmare didn't buy the D7, just isn't interesting enough of a model to spend 700 pounds on. Yeah, each their own. Fleet Paw, I am resisting the urge to make an innuendo about sticking yourself in a wormhole. Don't worry, Fleet Paw, I got you covered. You should know that. Do you know how hard it is? I don't know. I don't want to know how hard it is, Fleet Paw. You thinking about Jeff sticking his whatever in a wormhole makes you hard. Like really, really hard. Wow. To keep from making that innuendo. You shouldn't ask how hard it is and say really, really hard when you're talking about innuendos in a comment. Is all I'm saying, because, you know, that could be misinterpreted by people. Speaking of people, hit that like button. 5 more likes. Let's get those likes up to 50. Hashtag make Jeff pay. He will super chat in something. I've only had one super chat, and that was from Fleetpot earlier. If you want to super chat, feel free. We'd appreciate it. If not, that's also cool, but help us out if you can. And yeah, let's make Jeff pay. Make Jeff send us a super chat. Neil Hammersmith, wormhole looked like a bunghole. Oh, there we go. Now is the time when the live goes off the rails. Jeff Jacobs, oops, didn't see that one. Somehow. Talk about being off my game. I'm glad you didn't say oops, didn't see that one coming, because I would have said something. But you know me too well, because you changed it to didn't see that somehow. So good on you. But my God, man. You should know what to expect when you come here. Devo77X, with the motorbike in Artigas' quarters, I wonder if they are going to use it, but I realize they probably don't have the budget for something like that. The budget to use a fucking motorcycle? I don't understand. I assumed she was making some kind of like hover bike or craft. I mean, we've seen motorcycles in Star Trek, at least the Kelvinverse and beyond, but you know, I'd be fine with her like riding that down the hallway, the corridor or something. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Joseph Barbado, caught up in the chat. Indeed. And then you deleted it or retracted your message. Colin Barrett, the Cisco was watching over the Enterprise while in the wormhole. LOL. Neil Hammersmith, cue the Aussie and Crazy Train. BJ, maybe the Metrons live in the wormhole. What are they, wormhole aliens? Otherwise known as prophets. Maybe the prophets are the Metrons. Oh my God. Ozzy says, second wormhole to the right. Again, innuendo. Ooh. It's fine. Fleet Paw. At least we aren't talking about food, then we'd really be off the rails. No, that'd be more like on the rails. That's, you know. Thomas, roughly $5. Always a great conversation with the cat. Thank you so much, Thomas. That is much appreciated. Thank you so much. Jeff Jacobs, trying to keep us on the rails long enough to pay. Well, there's only 2 more likes. 2 more likes get to 50, and then Jeff is going to have to pay. $1 for each like he's going to have to pay. He's going to have to send a $50 super chat. He didn't know he agreed to that already, but it's the way it is. Fleet Paw, one more like. Make Jeff pay. I got 50. Yeah, we hit 50. Now Jeff has to pay. BJ, Ortega drives a motorcycle down the corridor and Pike turns to Spock. Wheels, Mr. Spock? Yes, Captain. Mark Trouble says, thanks for all the great Trek coverage, Captain. Where no Trek podcaster has gone before. Thank you. Yeah, I tend to, get down in the weeds a little bit where other more refined and respected Trek content creators wouldn't go. Because I'm just a dude sitting here talking about Star Trek. I don't put on a persona. This is me. People in the chat have met me. Eric Martin has met me. Not Jeff Jacobs, he hasn't met me. But Fleet Paw's met me. So this is who I am in person. I don't put on a show. It's just you hanging out with somebody who's maybe like you. I don't know. But yes. Fleet Paw, and that's the 50. Ozzy, did the Enterprise C came out of the wormhole? No. Colin Barrett, €5. Thank you so much, Colin. Much appreciated. The Metrons need to get a Netflix subscription. More entertaining than abducting aliens for entertainment. LOL. How do you know? Have you abducted aliens? Have you done anal probe stuff like the Metrons might have done? Maybe that is more entertaining. I don't know. Seeing some of the shows on like streaming services these days, I don't know. Maybe abducting an alien species would be more entertaining. I don't know. Jeff Jacobs, $3. Extra buck for causing trouble. $3. You used to put in at least $5. Jeff, what the hell, man? And I said $1 per like. That's 50. It's 53 now. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Neil Hammersmith, 2 in the Red Dwarfs, 1 in the wormhole. Oh my God. That's good. BJ, I rewatched the scene. The whole security detail opens fire on the Gorn. Yeah, I said that already. They all fucking open fire. Without an order, by the way. Yes, I understand that they just had some incidents with the Gorn and they're a little bit traumatized, sure. But Jesus Christ. Somebody needs to be written up for that because that was incompetent on everybody's part. The security officers that beamed down with La'an should be punished for not being ordered to do so, and La'an should just be reprimanded for just randomly opening fire. Yeah, I have a real problem with the way that ended. And if you're going to open fire, at least have them on stun, as they should be set on anyway. They should be set on stun until you have a visible, very obvious threat in front of you that stun won't work on. I'm just saying, they should have been on stun. There's no other answer. They just should have been on stun. They shouldn't have had phaser rifles in the first place. So they should have just been beaming down with regular phasers. Maybe one person having a rifle, sure. But there's no reason for a full tactical fucking landing party to go down there. So. Ozzy, remember the Star Trek is turning 59 years old on Monday. But next year's the 60th, so yeah. Fleet Paw, how do you think Peck's Spock fits into the captain's chair, Stuart? He always looks a little uncomfortable sitting in it, doesn't he? I don't know. Never really thought about it. I'll have to look. Devo77, if they did a Star Trek Year 1, it would have to end with Spock and Kirk going to play a game of chess and thus getting up to the beginning of where no man has gone before. Yes. Jeff Jacobs, hashtag make Jeff pay again at a mere 60 likes. 7 more likes, guys. I think everybody's here has hit like, but if you haven't, hit the like button. Let's get those likes up to 60. We're at 53 right now, so. Colin Barrett, the writers did a great job in taking us from these Gorn are awful to no, don't kill it, LOL. They did. They did a fantastic job with that. I mean, agreed. I should just be saying agreed and disagreed to everything. Jamie42, I do agree it should be set to stun by default. 100%. Neil Hammersmith, F, the Metrons, all hail Kaons. All hail Kaon, yes. BJ Tehran, big guns on stun are the only way stormtroopers can hit anything in Star Wars. Fleetpaw throws in $5. Thank you so much, Fleetpaw. Again, there is not enough Pelia this season. She is criminally underused, as is Mbanga. Yes. Sean, chat is being entertaining as always. I would talk more about the episode, but I'm currently doing deliveries and driving, so great episode in my opinion. Enjoy your delivery driving, Sean. Be safe. And yeah, the chat is always entertaining. Me, not so much. I'm just reacting to you guys. So, but yeah, speaking of, not this upcoming weekend, the next weekend, the 13th and 14th, is London Comic Con here in London, Ontario. If you're in the area, stop by, because I will be there all weekend with the TOS Captain's Chair, so you can come sit in the Captain's Chair, maybe dressed as Spock, answer Fleetpaw's question of how, well, dressed as Ethan's pet Spock, to see how come sit in the Captain's Chair at London Comic Con on September 13th and 14th. God damn it. Fleetpaw says, hail Kaon. Chuck A, TNG Fanatic, says, hi, Stuart. Good evening. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you, sir. Jeff Jacobs, totally agree that the response was totally off-brand, and yes, why were they armed to the teeth when they had no reason to believe that she was in that kind of danger? Yeah, totally unjustified in every way. There's no reason to assume that there's any kind of threat that would require phaser rifles on that moon. They were just, as far as they know, they were just rescuing her from a barren moon. So, Eric Martin, I love Helia's quarters. Reminds me of some of my friends' basements growing up. Yeah, you're not wrong. Neil Hammersmith, there is only so much dits to go around with Pelia to fit into season. Hashtag bring back Hemmer. Hemmer was great. I do miss Hemmer. Jeff Jacobs, maybe a medic instead of weapons. That would have been a good idea. Yeah. Maybe have Nurse Chapel there or Mbenga. Yeah, that probably would have been a brilliant fucking idea, considering we don't know how long she was stranded there. She was in a shuttle crash, and you know the atmosphere just fucking lit on fire. So yeah, maybe a medic would have been a good idea. Maybe one of the tactical guys was a medic. We don't know. But yeah, I agree. Fleetpaw, oh, and not only is Monday Trek's 59th year, but it's also the start of my 36th trip around the soul. Cheers to almost 40. Almost 40 and you're 36. Oh my god, man. Well, happy 36th birthday. And yeah, happy 59th to Star Trek. I thought I was turning 60, but that is literally next year, so I was confused there for a second. But Devo77X, I waffle a bit about, is it a blue waffle? Do you blue waffle? I don't know. I should just shut up now because I'm going to get in trouble. I waffle a bit about who would make a great McCoy if they get around to introducing him. Just have Pike's crew meet Kirk and he introduces old friend from the Academy, Dr. McCoy. Yeah. Ozzy says, hail Kaon as well. The Scottish Nightmare, that Gorn was one of Hemmer's children. Oh my goodness. Neil Hammersmith, seemed convenient that the moon had breathable air. I thought the same thing. But here we are. And considering it's in an elliptical orbit and passes through the thermosphere of the other planet, you'd think that the atmosphere of the moon would be burned off. And wouldn't have life on it. It had those little creepy crawly thingies, or those big creepy crawly thingies. So yeah. Devo77X, a side of me says Walton Goggins would make a great McCoy, but I'm not sure he would do it. I have no idea who that is. So, Fleetpaw, you have to admit Chapel did look hot in her tack gear. Moving on. Danny says, I missed the show. What's the consensus? Well, some people hate it, some people love it. What else is new? It was good though. It was, like I said at the beginning, it's like if Arena and Galileo 7 had a baby, this episode is the result. Oh, and it also fell in a big vat of enemy mine. Enemy mine soup. Jeff Jacobs says, just a nitpick. After she went through the wormhole, she announced she had lost helm control while at the same time dodging like rocks like a pro. Yes, I agree. And also her little log that she was making, stardate unknown. Bitch, you would use the stardate of the time you left. Maybe not. I don't know. She went through a wormhole. Could be any time, anywhere. Maybe she knew that. That's why she said stardate unknown. Not a big deal, but yeah. Colin Barrett, I will say though, despite the shuttle crash episode being done to death and they killed the Gorn at the end and the endless plot holes, I did enjoy this episode. Yes, I agree. Chuck A, atmosphere is part of the AR wall. Oh yeah, 100%. Ozzy, remember Kirk didn't have McCoy until the second episode in season 1. We don't know that. We don't know that. He could have been on the ship or being assigned to the ship. So maybe he wasn't there yet, but he could have been on the ship, just like Chekhov was on the ship in Space Seed. Just never saw him because he was not a bridge crew member yet, and he's taking a piss in the downstairs bathroom when Khan came in. It's fine. It's fine. But just because McCoy wasn't there and where No Man Has Gone Before doesn't mean that Kirk hadn't already met him and chose him to be on his crew. He just hadn't arrived yet. So you can't say that he's meeting McCoy for the first time in probably the Corbinite maneuver would be the next one after Where No Man Has Gone Before, at least filming wise. So yeah. Chuck Jones, this could have been a more powerful episode if the stranded crew member had been Uhura or La'an instead of Ortegas, with a different ending, of course. Jamie 42, since the entire thing was set up, it could explain the flaws. Okay. Neil Hammersmith, in the behind the scenes of this episode, it was stated that the Metrons rescued one of Hemmer's Gorn kids and made it crash land after passing through the space bunghole. Really? Devo77X, but Kirk and McCoy seem familiar with each other, so maybe they were friends before he came on board the ship. Absolutely, they would have been. Yeah, I absolutely believe that 100%. Joseph Barbato, I feel bad for the Gorn. It's like someone came in and punched your dog or your best friend that was just coming out to say hello. Or like when police officers shoot a dog because it's barking, trying to protect its owner. A little bit fucked up, if you ask me. Jeff Jacobs, yes, great way to put it. Arena and Galileo 7 and Enemy Mine was my first thought. Yes. My first thought was Galileo 7. Then it became Enemy Mine very quickly. Then I went back to Galileo 7. Then the Metron showed up and I went, oh, Arena. So yeah, it's just a mashup of a bunch of things. Fleetpaw says, keep in mind, Man Trap was the first episode aired, so McCoy was actually... No. Fleetpaw, you need to shut up. Doesn't matter what the fuck was the first one aired. The only reason it was aired first is because the studio thought it would be a good idea to have a more lighthearted episode than something about a person turning into a god. And so that's why they put Man Trap first. Man Trap was not the first episode. It was the first episode aired. First one was Where No Man Has Gone Before. Then the Corbomite maneuver. Then the Corbomite maneuver because the uniforms still aren't correct. And then Charlie X. So those are the first three. Jasif Almazan, hit that thumbs up button, my super friends. Hey, Jason, how's it going? Super friend. Yeah. Psh, V-neck. Colin Barrett. If La'an had been the shuttle pilot, she would have killed the Gorn on sight and died herself when the giant insects came along. Fleetpaw says, holy superstar, it's V-neck. Sup, Jason? BJ says, La'an killed Hammer's kids. Hammer's kid. Neil Hammersmith. Saying Kirk did not have McCoy until the second episode is like Khan recognizing Chekhov when Walter Koenig was not in that episode. Agreed. Jeff Jacobs, my first thought was Enemy Mine and then Arena. I forgot about Galileo 7. There's so much similar to Galileo 7. Like, we got shit on board the ship that needs to go to a colony because plague or whatever. And it's like, oh, timeline. Oh, can't search all these fucking million moons we can only search for so long. We're cutting it close. Oh, we got to leave. As we're leaving, let's put all the sensors backwards. Meanwhile, on the Galileo 7, let's burn our last of our fuel and create a flare. Good thinking, Mr. Spock. Probably didn't work, but it was worth a shot. Look, a flare. It's the fucking Galileo 7, you know what I'm saying? She lit the whole atmosphere on fire, though. Terrence Childs, his actions made perfect sense to me. The actions. Jason V-neck says, that's frickin' go, Cap. Yes, live long and prosper, V-neck style. Hello, my super friend. Yes. Taylor T, I really like this episode, but the ending was a gut punch. Yes, more like a ball slap. Psh, you know what I'm saying? Colin Barrett, if Uhura had been the pilot, she would have been able to have a full conversation with the depressed Gorn, would have talked her into committing the S word we are not allowed to say on YouTube. Oh my God. Danny says, my major complaint was the running dialogue stream of consciousness from Ortega. She narrated every single action. It went way past exposition. It was like it was targeted to kids or something. I don't have a problem with that because a lot of people talk to themselves. It's just a character trait, especially when they're alone. I talk to myself. It's the only way I can have an intelligent conversation anywhere. And yes, a lot of people talk to themselves. So when you start getting the wrong answers, that's when you have to worry. Devo77X, I've been watching TOS in production order, so I understand what the captain is talking about. As you should. It should be production order. Fuck the network's decision. Oh, we don't like this episode. We want a more lighthearted episode for the first one. So a fucking salt vampire that kills a bunch of people. All right, cool. Good job. Fuck. Fleetpaw, you don't monologue to yourself when you're alone or doing tasks? I know. Weird, eh? Jeff Jacobs, oh God, yes, the flare. Yes, thank God the special anomaly was within transporter range. Yeah. And not only that, but correct me if I'm wrong, if you burn off an atmosphere, I guess it wouldn't have burned off the entire atmosphere. I think it's fine. It's fine. I'm not even going to say anything. Fleetpaw, you're sorry. I usually catch that. Neil Hammersmith, are you referring to that thing that kids should not run with? Oh my God. Chuck A, Captain Decker mentioned before he was a Commodore from Doomsday Machine. Absolutely. Jeff Jacobs, can we have one more little like? Hashtag make Jeff pay. One more, and we hit 60. There you go. Devo77X, Trek culture brought up Ortega's talking to herself, but also understood why. Well, Trek culture said it. Fleetpaw, $2. You're talking to yourself right now, Foley, LOL. Am I, though? Am I? I am. Captain PJ, wasn't there another episode in Star Trek that the planet's atmosphere went up in a ball of fire? I'm thinking TNG or DS9. Probably. I can't think of it right now, though. Jeff Jacobs, I'm pretty sure they showed all of the atmosphere burned off. Like they made a point of it, so yeah. Yeah. Jeff, we hit 60 likes, by the way, so pay up. Pay up, dude. Neil Hammersmith, Foley, oh my God. That's what she said. I mean, yes, it's fine. Taylor T. Enterprise, I think it was the season 1 ending. Don't recall. Anyway, guys, it has been an hour. I need to run. I need to go do something else. It's actually been more than an hour because I started a little early. So if you missed any of this and want to hear my thoughts on it, go back and watch from the beginning. I do make it very clear. I like this episode. I think the two previous episodes were probably a little bit better for me. But this was a really good episode. It was just Arena and Galileo 7 again combined. So I like it. We'll see. Check out our review tomorrow. Keep in mind, though, our live review is not tomorrow. It'll be on Monday. Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to check out the full live review and breakdown, join us on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow afternoon will be our edited review of this episode. If you want to see both me and Sam's opinions on it, check that out. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. All those things. Jeff Jacobs throws in $2. It says, nice job. Made Jeff pay. Snoring Pug Joy. Yes. It was Shockwave, part 1, I believe. Says Fleetpaw. Neil Hammersmith, what a season. Space Mothra and Space Bungholes. Our wormholes stormy and wet inside. Oh my god. Thanks for the stream. No problem. I love the episode. Good night, everyone. Colin Barrett, your thoughts if Chapel had been the stranded crew member. Don't need to go there. Where they burned up in the atmosphere. The episode Shockwave from Enterprise. The Scottish Nightmare, the season 1 finale of Enterprise. There you go. We're getting all the answers now. Rich Klein, $10. Thursday night with Captain Foley and the Pugs. Are they both ensigns? Enjoyed the episode, even though it borrows from other episodes. How many times does the Enterprise have to deliver a vaccine? Right? Right? It is a courier ship. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. It has been a delight, as always. So tune in to all the content. We have content coming out this weekend, and check it out. And until next time, I'm Captain Foley signing off. Bye, guys. Have a fantastic night and a great weekend. And actually, I'm probably going live tomorrow afternoon, earlier in the afternoon, so that I can hit more time zones. It'll be my second first reaction to this episode. So join me for that if you're able to. And until then, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.